Determined bodybuilders have one distinct difference from average gym goers. And it's not how much time they spend in the gym, it's not how much time they spend cooking or meal prepping, and it's not necessarily steroids either. I mean, sure, some take steroids, swallow a pill, maybe stick a pin in their ass to try and see more progress, but that's not the point. The distinct difference is that they just know their game better. They know their bodies better. They know how to control their nutrition better. They know how to train properly. They know exactly what they need to do in order to shred body fat, gain muscle mass, whatever it is, everything in between, they can get it done through the systems that they have in place. And when people think of bodybuilding or they hear the word bodybuilder, they think of these absolutely roided up mass monsters who only eat chicken and rice, train 4 to 5 hours a day, only drink protein shakes and stick pins in their ass. And I mean, sure, that can be the case, but there's also guys like me who have just taken away from their simple methods in order to skyrocket their own progress in the gym without all that extra fluff around it. Having that further intention behind your training, your eating, your sleep schedule, your routine allows you to genuinely manipulate the progress that you're making. It allows you to focus on certain muscle groups and be able to say, okay, I want my shoulders bigger, I want my arms bigger. This is what I'm going to implement in my training in order to achieve that result. It allows you to guide your body weight. It allows you to shred only body fat and achieve that lean, chiseled look if that's genuinely what you're going for. And most importantly, it allows you to have a system, an unbreakable system in place, which allows you to maneuver and manipulate your physique in whichever way that you want. A system that guarantees your result as soon as you stick to the game plan. With that being said, it is the next step for a gym bro to take who's been showing up and training pretty consistently, who's passionate about the gym, who wants to see a really good result, but hasn't been able to reveal that peak aesthetic of actually being shredded, actually having abs, actually looking like he works out. So people no longer say, oh yeah, I think he goes to the gym. I think he likes training or something like that. To saying, no, this guy knows what the fuck he's doing. This guy, he has one of the most shredded physiques I've ever seen, right? In modern terms, this guy's locked in. So I'm gonna give you guys some points to think about and implement into your own daily routine, into your own gym routine, so that you can start acting, living, training, eating more like a bodybuilder, because having that system in place is going to allow you to manipulate your results that much more and actually guarantee seeing progress on the other end for whichever aesthetic you're chasing, whether it's you're trying to bulk up and put on lean mass, or you're trying to cut purely body fat and get absolutely shredded to reveal those results. The first one being is be more in touch with your nutrition and start tracking your calories and understanding the foods that you're putting into your body and why. That's the biggest mistake I see so many gym bros make, is they'll be putting in so much effort into their actual training, into showing up and doing the right exercises, being optimal, training to failure, past failure, all these things, yet they completely neglect the recovery aspect, the things that are actually going to build you the muscle, the things that are actually going to shred you the fat, are going to be outside of the gym. It's the protein you're consuming, it's your calories, it's what you're putting into your body. So I encourage you, whether you're trying to cut down or bulk up, track your calories and just have a good scope of like, okay, so this is how many calories I'm eating a day, and me doing this every single day is doing this to my body weight. Do I want it to go up? What do I need to decrease? What do I need to manipulate to actually start inching towards that desired body weight that I want to get to, of either being shredded or being bulked up? And that ties directly into my next point of, if you're actually trying to maximize your progress in the long term and you genuinely want to be achieving, a jacked, shredded physique, a guy with a lot of muscle on his frame and genuinely being lean, you should always be bulking or cutting. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to set some crazy ambitious goal of like, dude, I want to be 5% body fat, or I'm going to gain 20 pounds in the next few months. But your body weight should always be moving in one direction or another intentionally. Imagine walking up to a bodybuilder in the gym and you have a conversation with him like, oh, like, so are you bulking or cutting, or like, what are you kind of doing? And he's like, And I don't know, man. I'm just kind of here working out. Body weight stayed the same. Like, no, they always have a goal, man. They always have a goal. They have an intention of like, yeah, man, going through a lean bulk phase, I'm gonna be putting on lean mass. I'm eating this amount of calories. This is lining up with me gaining about half a pound each and every single week. And then once I reach, 220 pounds, then from that point, I'm gonna go straight into my diet, and that's gonna get me to 10%. Like, dude, this guy's planning 10 steps ahead, and he has an intention behind where he wants his body weight to get to. And I'm not saying you have to jump into it and take it that seriously, but have an intention. Understand, like, okay, so if I really want to put on some good muscle right now within the next few months, I can be in a little bit of a surplus to give my body that extra energy to pack on lean mass. Or if I'm going to be getting shredded, I need to be in a calorie deficit, and one way or another, my body weight needs to go down. So I need to make sure to adjust my calories and adjust my nutrition so that it's slowly progressing and I'm slowly getting leaner. The next thing I want you to implement that's going to take your progress to that next level is having consistent meals, like repetitive meals every single day that are hitting your protein goal and that you can manipulate when trying to manipulate your body weight. What do I mean by that? So protein is the base of everything, right? No matter if you're bulking or cutting, you need to be hitting your protein goal. So with that being said, the protein stays. If you could just implement the same routine of meals that you enjoy and that get you to your protein goal, and then manipulate everything outside of that that makes the calories higher or lower, the only difference between you lean bulking and putting on lean muscle mass and you cutting and maintaining that muscle mass while purely shredding body fat, the only difference is gonna be you taking that system of meals that you have and just removing a little bit of carbs, removing a little bit of fats, keeping the protein, and that right there is just like guaranteed progress. I'm gonna give you guys a quick example of this, of how I do this with my 50-gram protein breakfast. My 50-gram protein breakfast that I currently have every single day as I'm cutting down consists of 4 eggs, around 80 grams of 93% lean ground beef, and it ends up being 50 grams of protein. On top of that, I'll have a little bit of fruit, so a banana, some berries, etc. It ends up being 550 calories, and I know this for a fact. So this meal aligns with my with my structure of calories that I'm eating. I'm not having a lot of carbs because I save them for before the gym, and it's perfect. It aligns with my goals. Now, when I was bulking and gaining weight, I was eating that same meal, except I added so much extra shit around it that it was literally double the calories. I was having 5 or 6 eggs instead of 4. I was having even more ground beef. I was having a few slices of sourdough bread with it. I was having some avocado with it. I would sprinkle some cheese on there for extra fat. And I would have a massive glass of milk. So basically what I did is I added even more protein to the meal. I added more fats, I added more carbs, therefore increasing the total calorie content of that meal. It was almost 1,100, sometimes 1,200 calories that I was having for breakfast. Some would call it the same meal, right? It's just adding and subtracting things around the base of protein that I have. Super simple. Just to mention training, I'm not going to go too in depth. If you guys want more videos on training, go ahead and let me know in the comments, but it's going to stay pretty similar and pretty independent of whether you're bulking or cutting. You're in the gym to be stimulating muscle growth, and I really want you to adopt this mindset. I'm not in here to just lift some weights. I'm not in here to just swing a barbell around in some random directions. No, I am here to be stimulating muscle growth. I am here to give my body, give that muscle the signal that it needs to be growing. With each and every set, you should have that intention of, dude, I am going to put my muscle through so much pain in order to stimulate the muscle growth. So you're really focusing on the stretch. You're really focusing on, almost that ripping sensation that you get with certain exercises. You really focus on the stretch of the muscle. You take it through a full range of motion, and you're focusing on that mind-muscle connection, really trying to maximize the stimulus that you're achieving in the gym. What really helped me improve my training is focusing more on the eccentric or the lowering portion of my movements and really staying in that pain. Because I see so many guys in the gym they think the eccentric doesn't matter. They'll explode up and then they'll drop the weight. They'll explode up and then they'll drop the weight. That's not what it's about. You want good control. You You want to feel that tension as you're lowering the weight, feeling that super deep stretch in the muscle that you're trying to target, and then exploding on the way up. So just having that intention behind your training of like, dude, I'm gonna put my muscle through so much pain, and you want to stay in that pain in the best way possible. Now, if your training is actually rock solid and you're training with intensity, you're gonna need rest days and you're gonna need deloads, and you're gonna need to give your body some breaks in between. So all bodybuilders, you will never catch a guy just showing up year-round, training to failure, and never giving himself breaks. No, your body needs to recover, and it'll actually help you break certain plateaus. So if you have been training for the last 8 weeks, going to failure almost every single set, and your weight is no longer going up, you know, you're stuck on shoulder press, you're only pressing the 50s, and it stopped improving. You can't keep progressively overloading. Chances are you might need a deload, man. You've been hammering away at your body for a while. You might need a few rest days. So take a week off. Go through the motions, but don't be training close to failure, right? Grab the lighter weight. Give your body a bit of a break, and then you can jump into the next cycle of slowly starting to train more intense, more intense, more intense, and then you're gonna break that plateau and stimulate more muscle growth. Implement cardio and or a step count each and every single day. This is what I see so many guys neglect. Is, you know, they'll train, they'll go to the gym for a few hours on end, but when it comes to, you know, staying active, which is super healthy for you, is just spending more time on your feet, they'll completely neglect it. So whether you're bulking or cutting, I encourage you, if you're not a very active person, get on the treadmill for a little bit, get on the Stairmaster for a little bit, or just walk 10 to 12,000 steps each and every single day, which really isn't that much. Right now in my current routine, I go for a walk every single morning, which takes me like 20 minutes. Then I'll work through the whole morning. Then I'll get to the gym and I'll try to walk around in between my sets during my workout. And then I'll usually implement 20 to 30 minutes on the treadmill after my workout. And that puts me at 12,000 steps bare minimum. Sometimes I'm upwards of 15K, and that's just been a massive health change. The last and final thing, which I kind of already mentioned, is track your damn body weight. And I encourage you to do this on a daily basis. Some people say every week. No, just do it every single day. Yes, it's gonna fluctuate. Yes, you're gonna see some water weight fluctuate up and down, etc. And you're gonna be heavier one morning for some reason, even though you thought you were in a calorie deficit. And you're gonna be lighter one morning, even though you thought you were in a calorie surplus, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck is happening? This sucks. And that's part of the process. Get used to it. Your body weight fluctuates, but having that having that attachment to your body weight and understanding how to manipulate it in the long term is going to be absolutely huge. You get to understand your body, and you get to understand how you can manipulate your diet, your training, and all these things in order to get yourself leaner or get yourself bulked up, etc. So massive habit I think everybody should implement is just step on the scale in the morning. It really is not that difficult. These are just some of the methods that I implement with my guys in my one-on-one coaching program. Having that full control and having that full understanding of the progress we're trying to make, of what's going wrong, what's going correctly, and what we need to be manipulating and tweaking in order to be maximizing their progress and maximizing their results. We do this so that any road bump, any plateau, anything can be smoothed out, and they can get right back to maximizing their fat shredding results, maximizing their muscle building results, and actually guaranteeing the progress on the other end. They're not aimlessly showing up in training. They're not aimlessly eating food hoping it's going to get them jacked. They have the right systems in place to be making real progress. So if that's something you're interested in, that link is going to be in my bio to apply for my one-on-one coaching. And if you just want more accountability and you want to see more like what my routine looks like and what I pursue on a daily basis to be shredding body fat and making progress, go follow my Instagram. That link is also going to be down there. I post on my stories each and every single day of the things that I'm going through and what I've implemented to make my progress that much better. And if you just want to find out more about the structures and the systems that I use, go ahead and watch this video.